Hello, this is Joyce Curry for eResearch, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with Rick Thibault, CEO and President of Antioquia Gold. Rick, thank you for joining us this morning to let investors know a little bit more about the man who's leading Antioquia Gold.
Thank you, Joyce. I'm glad to be here this morning and to chat about what I offer to Antioquia Gold.
All right. Well, first off, what brought you into the mining industry?
When I was growing up, I visited a mine and I saw the large equipment. It caught my eye, and I looked at different curriculums. I knew I wanted to be an engineer. That was a given.
Okay.
And I looked at things, and I found the mining to be the most practical and mixed with the theory. So I became a mining engineer.
What's kept you here?
People. I think I've traveled all over the world, and I've met people in the middle of the jungle, and that in the mining industry, the fraternity is quite small, and that's part of what keeps me here.
Okay, now you've been in the industry for over 30 years. You've worked in coal, you've worked as a consultant. Can you tell us a bit about your career path that's brought you to leading Antioquia Gold?
Yep. First off, it'll be 35 years this year.
Okay.
So, and that I started many moons ago in Wawa, Ontario for Algoma Ore Division, and I was a project engineer. It was quite interesting. I was thrown in with the Wolves, but the Wolves taught me a lot of stuff for 2 years. And I then moved on to Fording Coal, where I spent 16 years. And in those 16 years, we grew from one operation to 7. And somewhere along the line, I had my hands in either directly or through engineering, and they were good times. 97, I went down to South America to head up a junior company in Argentina. And Brex hit, everything fell apart, and I decided to stay in South America. We liked it, my wife and I, and did managing director and different things. Met a couple of great gentlemen, and we formed a engineering firm, and I headed the South American operations and traveled all over the world from my base in Chile. And then about 2007, I moved on and have been working as, call it a gun for hire, as a CEO to juniors. And then I've now taken full-time position with Antioquia Gold and really enjoying it.
Rick, Antioquia's operations are in Colombia. You just mentioned South America. Could you say a little bit more about how that's helped you?
Yeah, having lived in South America, Argentina for 4, Chile for 7, and traveled all the countries, I think it's given me the cultural feeling of how they do business, which is quite different than North America. And along the way, I also became very fluent in Spanish, so that helped out too.
All right. Now, in your various roles and in your roles as CEO, you've lasted through many years, including some very tough economic times. What would you say are your greatest personal strengths that have helped you in these roles?
I think flexibility, resilience, because you have ups and downs through these times. Patience would be some of the things that I would think of that have gotten me through, and the friends, the people in the industry that I've talked about, that helps you through too, the tough times, because you're all going through it together.
Yeah. Now, just in your own personal development, who have been your inspirations in your life?
Well, I've had some fantastic mentors. At Fording Coal, I had Jim Popowich. When I was with BGC Engineering, my 2 partners, Ian Bruce and Wayne Savigny. If we look at it from who inspires you, I like to read history. So there are some leaders in their time who were exceptional to me, were people like Julius Caesar, Kubla Khan. And I just finished a book just recently, Sir Ernest Shackleton, who I thought was just a terrific motivator to keep his people for 2 years and not lose one.
Yeah. Now, how has this inspiration, if it has, carried through to creating your corporate philosophy in running Antioquia Gold?
Well, I like to ensure that the people realize it's a team, and that I have time for everybody from the janitor up to the chairman of the board, because we all have a place in the company, and I try to get that across. I was taught a lesson early in my career by a gentleman, Mr. Stinson, Bill Stinson, who used to run CP, and he said, Rick, we all have a piece of this company, and at the end of the day, we all put our pants on the same way. And I've always remembered that, and I try to bring that down to the people.
What would you say is your greatest professional achievement?
Let me just change that a bit.
Okay.
Okay. Mentoring, having the young fellas and being able to bring somebody along, and they become successful, and you see that, 10 years later, 20 years later. I think that, to me, is the greatest thing, is passing on your knowledge.
How about greatest disappointments in the industry?
I would say having certain goals or dreams or things that you're trying to accomplish, and through items outside of your control, whether they be decisions or global events or whatever, that don't allow you to finish what you were trying to start. I think, to me, that's what some of my disappointments have been.
How about challenges for you in the industry, either currently or in the past, and most importantly, what have you learned from them?
Yeah, I love challenges. I
Obviously.
Yeah, I love life too, right?
Yes, obviously.
We had this saying in one of the companies, and it was a great big can't, but it had a big stroke through. So from a challenge point of view, there's nothing that can't be done. Everything can be done. It just takes time, money, effort, resources, whatever. From a challenge point of view, I think it's more recent for me, and that is the markets and the fundamentals of raising money and everything, especially in the last, say, since 2008 or that, to me has been a great challenge. And what I've learned is you got to live for now. If things are there's a lot of people that have all their opinions, but in the end, it's your decision, and you've got to do it. And that's what I've learned, is do it.
Do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Rick, I know you travel all the time. You're back and forth between Colombia, other parts of the world, but in your private time, your outside interests, what do you like to do?
This might surprise you a bit. Gardening, vegetable gardening is one of my things. I set up my garden. We have a summer home in Sussex, New Brunswick, and I set up my garden. And when I'm home, I can go there and get lost and do what I want in my mind, doing things. I also like to spend, when I do get home, is my wife and I like to spend some quality time. We go golfing together and things like that.
All right. Now, for the new people coming out into the industry, the new graduates, what do you want to say to them? What do you want them to know?
I would say don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. The computer isn't the end-all, be-all. You've got to learn your profession by experience.
Which you have done well.
I hope so.
Okay. So, Rick, I want to say last word over to you. And can we expect anything exciting from Antioquia Gold in the next year?
I think 2012 is a great year for us. The team's pumped. We're going to move this project on towards, the Cisneros project, that is, on towards a production scenario by accomplishing our goals this year, which is to drill a very focused program to increase and get the sufficient reserve number. We're going to do our underground tunnels so that we can get all the technical information, preparing ourselves, and we're going to do a preliminary economic assessment. So those are the keys that then allow us to make the decision to go to production.
Sounding good.
Yes, it is.
So, Rick, thank you very much for coming and joining us today.
Oh, this has been a pleasure. Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you. So it's been Joyce Curry for eResearch speaking with Rick Thibault of Antioquia Gold.